Hello, everyone. Well, we did see showers and storms work over Iowa last night, and I think the same thing is going to happen tonight. The problem is, I think they're going to be even more widespread, and tonight there's a chance that some could be severe. So let's get things started, though, at 8 a.m. this morning, because I do need to mention still seeing some scattered showers and weak storms out there. No severe storms, but a few leftover weak storms are a possibility. Best chance in the northeastern portion of the state. And I do have to say that the best chance of rain during the day today actually is the morning hours. Because look what happens when we jump to noon. Now we're just talking about some isolated showers. Notice still the best chance in the northeastern part of the state. And then it's going to be about 4 o'clock that we hit our high temperatures today. Notice how the isolated showers trying to linger in the most northern part of the state, but I think a lot of us are going to be dry at 4 o'clock, and we're not even talking about big rain where there is rain. But look at the difference of temperatures. So most of us are going to get into the 70s today. I think there's going to be a lot of mid, upper 70s, low 70s, but notice how you go to the north and it is a little bit cooler. So a cold front already starting to push in and having some influence. And so, though there's a chance of storms and severe storms for places like Sioux City and Mason City, I do have to say the chance of storms and severe storms is going to be lower because it looks like temperatures just aren't going to get as warm today. Going to be breezy across the state, pretty uniform winds. Gusts around 20 miles per hour are going to be common, but still nothing big. So when does the chance for severe storms begin? I think at the earliest we might start to see some stronger storms pop up about 6, 7 o'clock. And notice it is going to begin in the western part of the state. Exactly where do the storms pop up, though? There's still a little bit of uncertainty in the models, but places I'm most concerned about for the severe threat are places like Denison and Fort Dodge, because I do think it's early evening these storms are going to be the strongest, and there's definitely a possibility of not just heavy rain and lightning, but some damaging wind and hail. Let's just time things out here because we're going to see a line of storms develop that's going to push to the east. Here we are at 9 o'clock and a lot of heavy rain and lightning, and I still think decent chance for some, especially because we're talking about a line of storms, some strong wind gusts and possibility of hail. But notice what happens when we start to get a little bit later into the evening, around 11 o'clock. Now, I still want to keep the severe chance in there, but notice how the line is kind of spreading out a little bit. So I think around 11 o'clock, the storms are going to start to lose their intensity. The question is how quickly are they going to lose their intensity? And the problem is we're still seeing some fairly warm temperatures. That might keep the storms going a little bit longer, but I will say the later this line arrives in your area, the less likely it is, though there's a good chance for some more heavy rain and lightning, the less likely it is that we're talking about some damaging wind and hail. So notice how it spreads out even more by the time we get to 1 a.m. I'm not going to kill the severe chance completely, but it is going to be dropping. And I'll keep the chance in there for everyone in the state, but I do have to say places like Quad Cities, you have the smallest chance. And I do think by 3 a.m., now there's not going to be any more strong storms. It's just going to be showers and weak storms around as our temperatures continue to cool and the atmosphere continues to stabilize. But what we're actually seeing, it looks like, is these storms are going to race ahead of the actual cold front. So unfortunately, we're not done talking about the severe weather threat yet. It is going to continue, it looks like, into Thursday. So the severe threat temporarily ending around 3 a.m. tonight. And I think we're going to go through the early morning hours, okay? Now, notice in the eastern half of the state, a lot of showers and weak storms. But what I'm concerned about on Thursday is new development along the actual cold front. So all that activity around the Quad Cities you're seeing, that's not the cold front, because look at the difference in temperatures. So upper 60s in the Quad Cities, 10 a.m. Thursday morning, but low 50s in Mason City. How about the upper 40s in Sioux City? So see that stuff that's popping up around Osceola towards Waterloo? That's new storms firing up along the cold front, maybe as early as 10 a.m. So unfortunately, I've got to mention the chance for severe storms, though it doesn't look quite as high, coming back around 10 a.m. Thursday morning. And again, it'll do the same thing, push to the east. So early afternoon, most of us will be done with the chance of storms and severe storms, but for the most eastern part of the state, Iowa City, Burlington, Davenport, Moline, Dubuque, got to keep the chance in there through the early afternoon hours. I don't want to take the chance of severe storms out of here until the cold front clears everyone. And right now it's looking like that's going to happen about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So once the cold front is clear of us, notice how not only does the rain chance drop, but the chance for severe storms coming to an end. I do have to mention, though, look at the difference in temperature. So Quad Cities may still reach low 70s, upper 60s on Thursday, but not nearly as warm in the central and western part of the state. And for everyone in the state tomorrow, instead of breezy like today, it's going to be windy with gusts around 30 miles per hour in most locations. All right, so to summarize our 2 severe threats, we're going to start with tonight, again, beginning around 7 o'clock and then continuing maybe as late as 3 a.m., but I'm most concerned about the evening hours and most concerned about the central and western part of the state. The chance is definitely lower in the eastern part of the state for tonight. But particularly, in the western and central part of the state, for everyone really across the state, I think heavy rain and lightning is going to be pretty common. But again, as far as the severe threat, biggest thing I'm concerned about in western and central Iowa are some strong wind gusts. I think in that line, especially during the evening hours, gusts 40, 50 miles per hour are going to be common. I'm not going to rule out some gusts up to 60 miles per hour. So-called a medium-high chance for damaging wind. Not as concerned about hail. But it is a possibility. It's probably mostly going to be pea-size hail, dime-size hail, but could we see up to quarter-size hail? Which, once you get to quarter-size hail, that can leave dents in cars and cause a little bit of roof damage. I do have to mention, we'll call it a low chance, though. I don't think there'll be as much hail as we're going to see those strong gusts. Unfortunately, the chance is very small, but it's not zero for an EF0 or EF1 tornado to spin up. Particularly in western Iowa as these storms initially fire up. And I've also got to say a very low chance for flooding. It looks like that line is going to be moving for the most part. So most of us probably looking at half an inch of rain, but I do have to mention that in a few spots could see up to 2 inches if that occurs in a low-lying, poorly drained location. And we could be talking about a few flooded roads. All right, so that's for tonight. Again, particularly highlighting the evening hours in central and western Iowa. But we do have to talk about the late morning Thursday through the early afternoon. And I think it's probably going to be limited to eastern Iowa. The chance is real low tonight in eastern Iowa, but it is higher tomorrow. Now, overall, I do think the severe threat is smaller. I'm still most concerned about damage wind, but notice I think the biggest winds now 50 miles per hour, so medium chance for damage wind. Again, still talking about heavy rain and lightning being common. I think the biggest hail, I'm going to say very low for the threat for hail. I think the biggest hail would be penny size. Not worried about any tornadoes on Thursday, unlike tonight, and again tonight, chance very low. The only thing I'm slightly more concerned about during the late morning, early afternoon Thursday is flooding. Because I talked about how there's going to be rain tonight, and there's already going to be showers and storms around during the early morning hours, even though it's going to be weak activity. So when additional storms push into eastern Iowa, late morning, early afternoon, the ground's already going to be wet, so it makes flooding slightly more likely. It doesn't look widespread, but I do have to mention the possibility that a few spots could see up to 3 inches of rain, which would lead to flooded roads.